Meh, 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 meh. It's 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. Listen, me and CB kept it cute. We stayed in, but I saw a lot of you on Instagram having the time of your life. And to all my family and friends, I want to say Happy New Year. So today's episode, I thought to kick off 2025, I wanted to provide a tool for the culture that I think will really help us not only grow as a community, but grow economically. Listen, we have a presidential inauguration coming up, and a lot of Black people are frustrated and scared and just confused as to the direction to which this country is going. And I think after the presidential election, a lot of Black folks said, listen, we're done. We're done. Okay. We are done investing in people, places, and entities that don't value us. A lot of Black folks are saying we are now no longer involved in these things. We need to uplift our community first, right? Because if no one else is going to do it, no matter how much we yell and we scream and we march, no one can do this but us. And so in 2025, I want to introduce you to an app called Blap. I spoke with the founder of Blapp. His name is Jon Laster. He's a former comedian and now into the tech space. And after the George Floyd situation 4.5 years ago, now 5 years ago, I would say, they decided that they were going to create something that was going to not only bring the community together, but help in the economic growth efforts that we so desperately want, but so hard to stay consistent at. And so I had the pleasure of speaking with Jon about the app, and he just talks about why he created the app and what the goal of the app is. Now, you can download this app anywhere. It is universal to any state, and what it will do is it'll help find any Black-owned business in your area, which I think is chef's kiss. And so this year, I really want us to be intentional about who we support, where we are pouring our money into, and why. And this is the way to do it. Here's our interview. Thank you for hanging out with me today on Summa Our Vegas. How you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. I had talked to you about it slightly before, but when I was on Threads, you know, with the election and everything going on, a lot of people were talking about how do we support Black businesses? How do we support us, right? And not be so focused on investing in others. And so a gentleman was on there telling people, download the app Blap. And I was very curious because I had never heard of Blap before, and so intrigued. And now that I have it, I absolutely love it because part of my mission with Summa Our Vegas is to bring the culture to people who don't know it's here. And so I appreciate you creating something that we can all have on our phone so we can look for these Black-owned businesses and support our community. So I appreciate that.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Renee. Thank you for downloading the app and thank you for bringing me on your platform. I appreciate it. We are in the same gang, trying to circulate this dollar.
Absolutely. So what inspired you to create it? I know that some of what we are talking about now is a reason why, but tell me, like, when was it, that day, that thought that popped into your head that said, I need to create something for the community?
Truth be told, I was actually out marching probably almost 4 years ago, at a Black Lives Matter rally. And it dawned on me like, you know what, after this marching and yelling and screaming, everything's going to go back to the same, especially for white folks. And then there's an old saying in the hood, if you knew better, you do better. And I knew better, so I made some phone calls to Silicon Valley and, to a buddy of mine, Margot, who ended up calling a friend, having a dinner guest over, my buddy, a good friend of mine now, Matt. And then I brought in my lifelong friend, Baba Tunde, and the four of us just were kind of in a foxhole trying to build something that people could use and easily find Black-owned businesses.
Yeah, we just shout out to John because he got Calabash on there. Shout out to you because that's auntie right there. We got that. But I think again, it's so important because a lot of people just don't know where to find these places to support, and so Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Can you you did share what that pivotal moment was, which was you out doing a Black Lives Matter event, but as the CEO of this app, how have you been trying to increase visibility for the app?
To be honest, fortunately for me, I've been focused more on making improvements night and day. I'm up probably around 7 o'clock in the morning. 7:30 means I slept in. So my focus, my business partner and my mentor, God bless him, brother Ikram, created Venmo. So Ikram is my business partner, and Ikram told me just stay focused on making improvements and the word will get out. So that's what I stay focused on is the improvements. We haven't done a lot of promotion. I mean, it's been organic growth. We just hit 120,000 downloads this morning. So I'm really proud of that. We'll probably start the real promotion maybe this Black History Month because breaking news, we just added our first business on Monday to our e-commerce platform. So pretty soon, and we haven't even, this is the first time I'm ever talking about it in public.
We got the scoop, y'all.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Breaking news exclusive. Yeah, by Black History Month, the next 30 to 60 days, you'll be able to buy everything from Black-owned baby clothes to liquor on Blap. Yeah, the
Wow.
e-commerce platform is now expanding where you can shop online. And so we had our merch up and we just got our this week we just added our first company outside of ourselves. There's a book now. So if you go to the e-commerce portion of Black now, you'll see another company. So yeah, pretty soon. Now once that starts expanding, then we'll start the promotion. But to date, it's just been organic growth, thank God.
Yeah. Now, will there ever be an opportunity for people to collaborate with the app or add more to the app as you all continue to add more to the app?
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as it's helping to get the word out for sure. I mean, we have share functionality, so anybody who can hit that share button and share in the app with as many people as possible. There's also the ability to blap any business that you own. So in the next week, I think by this time next week, yeah, by next Friday, the map will actually be a lot better. So for example, if I came to Las Vegas, the comedy club that I work at, it's called Comedy Cellar. So at least once a year, I do Comedy Cellar Las Vegas. But the next time I was in Las Vegas with the new functionality on the app, Renee, I would just look at the restaurants that you blacked, and your face would show up on the map on those businesses in Las Vegas. And I would just go there.
Dope.
That way, it's an easy recommendation. I would probably have ended up at the Calabash, I believe, African joint that you were talking about. I would have saw that you blapped that, and I would just go there. So it'll be way easier to find businesses. We're trying to speed it up, speed it up, speed it up to help you find dope businesses that your friends recommend. We're gonna do a campaign. We'll have a campaign coming up where everyone just tells us their top five. So you could list your top five and be like, "Hey, my name is Renee, and this is my Blap top five."
Yeah.
Um, we
Yes.
would love to hear everyone's top five because then, like I said, I could go to your social media, look up who your top five is, and that's where I would eat in Las Vegas.
Awesome. Now, with that, what challenges have you faced with developing the app? You know, we're trying to get our brothers and sisters more into tech, more involved. And I know that there's always an app for something that someone is trying to develop, but maybe they're facing certain challenges. So, what challenges have you been facing since creating this app, and how have you been able to overcome some of those challenges?
Two biggest challenges, very, very easily, is um, I don't think that people understand historically in America that things like the Klan were not for just random acts of violence against Black folks. They were for uppity Black folks. So when things started getting too good, here comes the pushback. You get Barack Obama, and then comes the pushback. You know what I mean? Or you get something like I'm building, and of course, on the Play Store, you have these random people that are going through putting 1 star. So I've got like a really low rating on the Play Store. The app is fine, it's working. And then you can see them like putting thumbs down on everyone's comments. So, I mean, if anyone can go and add some 5 star joints to the Play Store, that's good. Yes. And then the second one, of course, is money. A lot of people don't know that as of now, venture money, venture capital money, which is where most startups go for money, for Black founders is down at the end of last year, was down to around 0.2%. And this year, I believe it's a little over 0.3%. So that means 98.8% of money. Now, keep in mind that 0.2% of money, let's round it up to point 0.4, 0.4%. But keep in mind, some of that money is allocated to Black women founders. So I'm out looking for money as a fraction of 0.4%. It's like trying to grow, you know, an oak tree with a bottle of water. It's truly a nightmare. And I know that oftentimes you hear people in these conversations and they're like, oh, accessing capital, and they don't understand that it's not that. It is a 5 alarm fire. We as Black founders out here are, they're drowning our babies in the bathtub, and don't think that this is a coincidence. Unfortunately, let's be honest, I'm gonna start calling some people out. I used
Call them out.
that, but let's do it.
Do it.
Oftentimes, even when, and we're the only community that does this, if I'm looking to talk to, let's say, somebody that plays for the Vegas Raiders, and you go to talk to them, you'll have to talk to a white representative who knows nothing or cares nothing about these businesses. Oftentimes, it's a man. White men make up 0.000, like they will not download Blap. And this is who you're talking to on behalf of a rich Black guy or a rich Black woman. It is a we're the only community that you would have to talk to someone of all of us, someone of another race to get money from our people. It is maddening. It is maddening.
We have the similar things when it comes to creating content and being influencers, right? Because I will call them out. Pepsi is one where they did a Black History Month campaign, where they wanted all the, or as many Black influencers as they could here in Las Vegas to spotlight Black owned businesses. We were approached. We were asked to give a budget. The budget was denied. Thank you. We'll get you again next time. And when we saw the promotion go out and we started seeing the campaign, right, and we started seeing other influencers, I would say there was probably 3 that we know of that did videos for Pepsi. All of the rest of the influencers were not Black. And I didn't understand why they were hitting up white influencers to do Black History Month videos. I get it. Those creators are amazing. A lot of them have hundreds of thousands of followers. But that kind of defeats the purpose of, why do I have to beg Pepsi to do a Black campaign, and the budget that we're requesting is too much, even though it wasn't, because it's Pepsi. You can afford it.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't want to give it to us. So it told me, even if we're not a part of the campaign, they're not paying Black influencers what they should have been paying them. And 2, they didn't really care if they were Black or not. They cared about how many followers they had. And so they were willing to recruit any and everyone as long as they stayed in that budget they were willing to pay, but not some of the other more prominent Black influencers here in Las Vegas. And so I don't put it past big brands. I don't put it past other white CEOs. I don't put it past these internet trolls to try to diminish what we're trying to put out there, the representation that we're trying to put out there.
Only reason that I call out, because I know that that I'm not one of those people that doesn't believe that systemic racism. I'm not one of those weirdos. I'm saying that to say we have been at this long enough to know now to stop being upset at begging white folks to say, hey, do your part, help us out, help us out. we understand that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So if the car is in the ditch at some point in time, we need to start working, getting the car out of the ditch. It's almost like somebody was telling me, and I don't know if it's true or not. I should ask him. Chris Rock, my brother, he's also a partner in Blapp. But someone was saying that he was stuck on the side of the road. He's got his hand up. No one will stop. You know, it's hard to notice whether he's Chris Rock on the side of the road stuck, and he starts pushing the car. And as soon as he starts pushing the car, somebody pulls over. But it's almost like at some point in time, we have to start pushing this car ourselves. Do you know what I mean? We are down to, I think the average person spends just under 2% of their income on Black-owned businesses. Now, I will grant us this grace. Just human nature is if something's not easy, you're not going to do it. So that's why I'm up from 7 o'clock in the morning every morning, trying to make it easier and easier and easier so that the shopping experience, especially this e-commerce experience, is just the way that you would go through it on Amazon, Etsy, Shopify. And we are days away. So hopefully that will allow us to get back into the market, add it to the cart. It'll autofill your credit card, Apple Pay and keep it moving. But that's what we have going now. We're going to be adding PayPal and Klarna and I think Venmo pretty soon. But yeah, hopefully we can start to push this car.
What advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur looking to get into technology? I know that we kind of talked about those challenges, but give us a little one-on-one on what the young generation can do to get their hands into technology.
First of all, I think some of the best advice ever given to me, and I think that we're all guilty of this, so it's some of the best advice ever given to me was never ask somebody how to get something they don't got. So unfortunately, sometimes you're thinking about, oh, I got this app idea, and you're sitting next to somebody who does not work in tech, and they're like, oh, it's too expensive. You're never going to be able to do that. Always ask someone who has done what it is that you're setting out to do. And it may not be that you can get directly in touch with a Robert Smith or, my buddy, Ikram who created Venmo. It may be that you have to find an autobiography to find out how they went about it, or a documentary, or somebody that was there with them. But I think that that is crucial so that you don't get discouraged before you even start. I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't code, you know what I mean? And like I said, I hit 120,000 downloads this morning. And this inauguration day, along coinciding with Martin Luther King Day, is going to be explosive for Black. So
Yeah.
you can do it, but make sure that you talk to somebody who's done what you want to do so you don't get discouraged too early. You do need to know that this money thing is a nightmare. I think that there's a lot of us that are making headway so that, my grandmother told me when I was younger, I remember one time the bathroom was kind of, I had left the washcloth on the sink and whatever, and I was coming out of the bathroom, and my grandmother stopped me and pushed me back in the bathroom, and she said, always leave a place better than you found it, John John. That's what my family tells me. So that's what I'm trying to do in terms of the raising money so that the tech folks that come, entrepreneurs that come behind me don't have these same horrific conditions.
So tell everyone how they can support Blap, how they can get involved with Blap, where they can find the app, all those things.
Blap is easily found on the App Store and the Play Store. And if you cross the Play Store, please make sure you hit a 5 star. Hit us with 5 stars. Yeah, but please download it, share it as much as possible. We're going to need something to do, please, this Black History Month instead of just, I mean, and every day, but especially this Black History Month. I'm so tired of us just running the Martin Luther King videos, inaccurate Martin Luther King videos, I might add. They always show the turn the cheek Martin Luther King video, where the sad part about it is King before he died, this is not my words. I can show y'all the video. Martin Luther King before he died said that the turn the cheek, the marches, the bills that they got passed in the civil rights era, the civil rights bills they got passed, all failed. This is Martin's words. And then Martin said, sitting on Johnny Carson, these are not hidden letters, on Johnny Carson, He said, we need to find an economic solution to these problems. He said the stuff that they tried did not trickle down. I think he said to the average Negro was the word that he said. He said, we got to find he said he was wrong. He said, we need to find an economic solution to these problems.
Absolutely. And I think what you're doing with Blap will really help the community to get more involved, especially in 2025. I feel that energy from us. We are looking to embrace our community and grow our community. And so I think that, what Summa Our Vegas is doing with some of our culture and our food and all those things, and what Blap is doing, we both have the same mindset aligned in the fact that we need to really just push more for our community, promote our community the same way we promote every other brand or company. It is time for us to stop investing so much in other communities and really start putting our foot down in our own community to see the growth that we are constantly screaming for, I think every election cycle, if not every year, especially going into the new year. So, Jon, I just appreciate your time. I appreciate your knowledge and your experience and what you're doing for the community. And I hope that any of, the people watching will, get involved and they, say, hey, there's some stuff in my community that I'm not seeing on the app. Let me DM them and get that on the app. Let me make sure that everyone has full access to, the businesses and the services that we as Black people can, provide for our community. So thank you so much again for your time. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Renee. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for helping get the word out.